Hey guys, welcome back. In this week's video, we are spotlighting farmers market vendor booths. Because if you are a vendor getting ready to pop up at your first farmers market, or maybe you're a vendor who's done a couple of markets, but you're ready to take your booth to the next level, and you're looking for ideas for how to maybe make your booth stand out better, or just how to have a cohesive looking booth on a budget, then this video is for you, because we're going to be taking a look at examples from farmers market across the state of Georgia. I'm spotlighting 3 different farmers markets that I have attended across the state of Georgia. And in this video, we're going to take a look at food vendors, produce vendors, ready to eat food vendors. We're going to look at non-food vendors, everything from craft fair style to, things like soap vendors, different things like that. So as we are taking a look at the vendors in this video, I want you guys to look out for a couple of different things. I want you to look out for the branding. So does the vendor have a custom tent with their store's name on it and that stands out to you? Or do they have a big sign with their store's name? I also want you to pay attention to the colors that these vendors have chosen for their booths. I want you to take a look at the different displays they have. Here in this lemonade vendor, we can see they have the name of the store in that big sign, whereas some vendors only have the name maybe hidden kind of small somewhere to the side. You wanna look out for those things, and you wanna pay attention to whether they have, colorful tablecloths or colorful tents. Is the tablecloth branded or is the tent branded? I want you guys to look out for those things as you're thinking about what you want to order for your own vendor booth. And I also want you to look out for how these vendors display their products and the price of those products. So sometimes you'll notice there's like a laminated piece of paper that's printed with the price. Oh, here, I want to pause. So you saw that sign for boiled peanuts. This particular vendor, they were way at the end of one side of the vendor event, the farmers market. So they were at the very end. A lot of people might not make their way all the way down there unless they parked in that direction. So they had signs letting people know where they were located, which I think is brilliant. And here you can see I'm walking in that direction. I haven't yet gotten to the boiled peanut vendor, but in just a moment, you'll see that they are in fact at the very end. And a lot of people probably wouldn't have known they even, existed if it weren't for those signs pointing in the direction of where they are. And here they are. Here you can see all the way at the very end. So I think that's a really creative, easy way to advertise your booth at the particular event. Now, going back to other things I want you guys to look out for as we are taking a look at some of these examples, I just want you to pay attention to what stands out to you. And I want you to think about why it stands out. Is it a particular color palette? Is it a booth that looks really crisp and clean and is super organized? Or is it a certain display case they use to display their products? Is it the custom tent they have or a custom sign they have to the side? Do they have a sign that has pictures of their products that really draws people in? I want you to pay attention to things like that, so when you're getting ready for your booth, you can think about how you can stand out. I want to pause here and let you know that if you're a vendor looking to sign up for more events, then I have the perfect app for you. This is an app that I'm launching in fall 2024, and it's going to make your life so much easier. It's going to be an app that allows you as a vendor to find more events to sign up for. It's also going to allow event organizers to find vendors. So event organizers will be reaching out to you to apply to their event. And lastly, it's going to allow you as a vendor to read the reviews of an event before you sign up for it and waste your time. Now, what you can do is sign up now to join the email list for early access, and you can find that link in the description bar down below. Now, for those of you on a budget, we're going to look at some of these examples you can see here. They're using different types of wooden crates to display the products and some tins, tin buckets, and then they have the products written on one of those chalkboards. So you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money on fancy displays, especially when you're first getting started. So if you're balling on a budget, it's your first event, don't feel pressured to have the most amazing, and overly extravagant setup, I would recommend starting small and kind of building as you grow. And what you'll come to learn is, one thing that's important to me at least, is how easy it is to actually set up the booth and then pack it down at the end of the day, because the more extravagant the setup, the more time it's going to take to set it up. So I don't want you to just go out and spend a lot of money initially and then realize it takes you 3 hours to set up, and maybe you have one person helping you and it just takes you guys way too long and it's too stressful. Versus maybe you do start off with a small booth, maybe you have one table and one tablecloth and one branded sign. Like this example, you can see, actually I'm doing a horrible job showing you what I'm trying to talk about, but you can see that they have the name of their store on that like tablecloth runner. So maybe you start with something small and then over time you expand as you kind of get the hang of things. Here we can see, they have their products and the prices just printed out, and then they've put it in some sort of laminated folder thing. Here we can see paper printed out, and it's not even laminated, but it has a QR code on it. Oh, you can see my little doggy. She came to that particular farmer's market with us. So my point is, you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money when you're getting started, but that's something that you can work up to. Not necessarily spending a lot of money, but just having a fancier booth that stands out and draws people in. You don't have to try so hard and spend so much money in the beginning. You can build as you grow. Now, what else? So a couple of other things I want you to look out for now that we're halfway through. I want you to look out for any booths that are selling the same type of product as you. If you do see your particular product, feel free to pause on that booth and take a closer look and see how they're displaying different things. You can see my husband is at some of these farmers markets with me, and he's actually purchasing some of these things. Like here he is in the blue shirt ordering some sausage. So you can honestly pay attention to what he's purchasing at these events, do some target market research. He is a white male in his 30s. Here he is buying, I think it was eggs at that particular vendor, and here he is buying some olive oil. I think he, in another clip, will be purchasing some honey. So anyway, I digress. I also want you guys to, like I said, pay attention to if you find your particular product category. Feel free to comment down below what type of product you sell, and if you are looking for more examples of that particular type of vendor, let's say it's plants, or here we have another beef vendor. If you sell beef and you want more examples of beef vendors, or you sell plants and you want more examples of plant vendors, or soap or something like that, feel free to comment down below and I will try to create a dedicated video focusing, spotlighting that particular product category. I have created a number of other product category specific videos, like I've created candle, skincare, clothing, accessories. I'm trying to remember what else. I've created a number of videos, so you can definitely check those out. I will link to them all in the description bar down below. And here you can see I'm carrying some flowers. I didn't mean to get them in my clip, but my husband had just handed me this beautiful bouquet that he had purchased for me. And this is an interesting combination, empanadas and juices. I think that is definitely a fun store to have both types of products. Here we have a retail store that the juice one, now we've moved on to past that clip, but that was actually a chain restaurant that's located all over Atlanta, and they actually go to these farmers markets and set up to, get the word out about their store. So this isn't necessarily all small, businesses. Some of them have chain restaurants that come out. This is another example, Nothing But Cakes. They're actually a big chain that's all over the country from my understanding. I remember when I was out in Utah in Provo, I found a Nothing But Cake vendor. So you're gonna have a mixture of different types of vendors. One thing I wanna point out, if you are looking for additional products to sell, so maybe you make hand good maybe you make your own soap, or in this case, you sell pickles. Then you also might consider having another little product for sale, and maybe it's not something you make yourself. Maybe it's something that you wholesale from a website like Faire. I'll link to them down below, but I think it's great to have a couple of different options. You know, you could be selling food, but then maybe you also offer a couple of cute little candles or some type of home good, you know, and that's just great for upselling. So maybe someone's already making a purchase to order the food from you, and then they're like, oh, I actually need to get a gift for someone, you know, for a birthday party tonight. Let me grab that candle from you also. I think it's a great way to upsell while you're already making a sale, to offer them another product. So it doesn't have to be something you hand make. It could be something you wholesale from a website like Faire. Now, if you are looking for fancy display cases and not accessories, but like displays for your booth or custom signs, my favorite go-to website is Displays to Go. I will link to them in the description bar as well. And they have some really amazing, beautiful options for you if you're not interested in going down the DIY route. And you can also check out websites like Etsy. They've got tons of vendor event displays options as well. So there's all sorts of great places that you can find displays. And then I love these really creative, like this is a truck that has been transformed into some sort of, I want to say bakery goods, kind of hard to see. But I love the really creative booths like this that really stand out and draw people in, and people are like, oh, that's so cool looking, I want to take a picture, you know, and it's got their name written all over it. And it's, you know, it's something that really draws people in. So I do think, I feel like I'm talking in circles, but I do think the more creative you can be, the better off you will be. But it's up to you to kind of figure out, you know, what makes sense for your brand. Here's my husband buying honey. I knew that clip was coming up at some point. But what is your color palette for your booth? How are you going to stand out amongst all of the other vendors? Especially if there are vendors who, you know, you're competing with, who are selling similar products to you. Then you want to find ways to stand out amongst the crowd and get people to come check out your product. One thing I highly recommend is offering free samples if it makes sense for your brand. So if you sell candles only, it probably doesn't make sense to give away a free candle, but is there some sort of small candle accessory that you could get from a website like Faire that's really cheap that you could offer as a sample or a giveaway? Maybe it's a lighter. Like maybe you find custom lighters with your store's name on them. You know, you want to find some way to offer giveaways, offer freebies that will attract people to want to come check out your booth. Everyone loves a good freebie, but you want it to be something that, like, you know, isn't overdone or played out, you know. So you want to think about creative ways to get people to check out your booth. And then going back to what I was saying about free samples, if you do sell food, if you can offer some sort of free sample, like a tiny, you know, just tiny little bit, then I'm always inclined, you know, whenever I go try a free sample, I'm a lot more inclined to actually purchase from that particular vendor. Like I know that's how I ended up buying pesto sauce at a farmer's market, is because they offered me a free sample, and now I'm hooked on that pesto and go back to that vendor every week when I go to the farmer's market. All right, well that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions at all. This is just part of a Let's Pop Shop video series where I will teach you everything you need to know to master the art of selling at pop-ups and vendor events, farmers markets, festivals, all sorts of different types of events. I'm going to share tons of examples with you guys, tons of good information, all sorts of tips and tricks to help you guys out. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.